The goal of this video is to review the lesson 4.2, which is about creating your own collaboration project. This is a tabbed page, so there are three tabs up here. The first one, the overview, just a real quick explanation about what you're going to be doing. Version history, you're going to be using version history as a part of this project development. So if you don't know anything about version history, there's a document that you can open to read about it, and there's a video that demonstrates the advantages and how version history works. So please take time to review this if version history is brand new to you. Then we're going to go to the collaborative tab to learn about the project that you're going to be doing. So here's an overview. This video will be up here, but read through so that you understand the requirements. So you're going to design your own collaborative activity. It can be for staff at your site, or it can be a student-based project, whichever you want to do. You've already participated in a couple that I've designed, so now it's your turn to design one. You're going to be using version history to label different versions of the project, so I'll be demonstrating that in the video also. You're going to be required to rename at least 2 to 3 different dates and times in that version history. And then step 3 is you're going to submit this for your assignment. All right, so let's go ahead. I have a couple that I put together just as samples. So the first one is more of a student collaboration, where you might divide into groups of 2, 3, 4, and have students research animals that are native to Nevada. So I've got some directions with some hyperlinks. I expect to see hyperlinks in your projects. You've learned how to do them. Just pasting in a URL is not really acceptable anymore. You know how to do it. You know the reason behind it is for accessibility for screen readers. So I do expect during this class that you will use hyperlinks. So this is a link to a website. This is one of the requirements. You need to link out to another Google app. This is linking to another Google Doc. So once the group has decided on their animal, they're going to go to this doc and type in their group names and the animal that they want to research. So you can complete each section of this document. These are just instructions. You can set up whatever you want here. But I did put it together a page where they could do their research. And then when they're done, they're going to go to a Google slide deck and add their information. And see, this is not finished. I just put a slide deck together as an example. So there's no need for you to finish these, but I do want to see that you know how to link to another Google application. So that's a student example. I did one for a department, perhaps a department meeting. Oh, this is already in. Let me go back to okay. So this is more of a planning document, something that I could update for the actual agenda if I was in charge of planning the meeting. So I just had some fun with a table and some drop-down menus to identify people that were at the meeting and their attendance status. Here's a link to another Google app. So I click on that. And you can see this is not completed, so you don't have to have them completed. Basically, just as a quick reminder to share or to link that, you go into the share settings, and I have it set, both of these, but I have it set for viewer because at this point in time, I wouldn't want them to change anything that's on this document because that meeting hasn't been in the past. I copy the link. I have the text already typed in, but if you didn't, you could link it, and then using the link, you would either enter the text there and paste in the link to that document. So that's hyperlinking. And then here's another example. I have a brainstorming document that I put together where if I'm looking for ideas from people before they come to the meeting, this might be a place where they could give me some feedback or brainstorm some ideas before the meeting. So that's just another example of linking. You're only required to have one. You can have more if you want. If you link to a website, again, use a hyperlink. And then I didn't really finish this up because these would be things that we would finish during the meeting. All right, let's go into version history now, because as you're building this document, I want you to use version history or do it at the end. Doesn't really matter. And version history will allow you to identify times where you might want to come back to that copy of the document. So I might want to, this one as an example, I started with a template, so I might want to put this down as where I started from. So if I wanted to go back, I could. Here I identified where I was after draft 2. And if I want to identify this version, I can go up to, I can either go to name this version, or I can simply double click here and call this my final draft. Okay. An advantage to doing that is that I can filter then on those that are just named. Those were times when I felt like I was at a place and point where I might need to come back and be able to get information from that location. Something else, if I'm going to send this out for feedback, I might want to identify, I might want to name that also. So I can do it right from the menu here, name this current version. So before I send it out for feedback, I might just say feedback requested so that I know what I had on the document before I send it out to others to get their feedback. So in case something happened and I wanted to go back, I could easily find that place and time. Now, something about version history, which if you watch the video, it will tell you, if I go to draft 2 and I restore from draft 2, all of these, all the information that's on these versions above it, that information is gone. So be careful. So if there's something I noticed in draft 2 that I had in there, but I didn't see it in my final draft, but I'd like to get it back again. And this might be helpful for students if you're doing a student collaboration things and some student accidentally removes or deletes something, you could go back and version history and perhaps copy that information and put it back on the original document. So do experiment with version history, especially at the beginning when you're developing your content so that you're comfortable with it. But do note that if I restore at this point here, then anything that's been added to the document will be gone. So anyway, to get out of version history, you just use this back arrow and you're back working with your department, with your document. I look forward to reviewing your collaboration projects. You'll notice I didn't do a lot with tables in these 2 examples because I wanted to show you that it's not necessary. I like using tables because I think it helps organize for participants, but use them as you need them. Take care. If you have any questions, please reach out and let me know.